Yes, I life is great to give thanks, you know?
Serious thing. We are here again, Ballhead, and we're truly appreciative of everyone been supporting the thing from those times till now. If you get free time, make sure you check out EP from the one Far Eye, our Autarchii Disrupting the Status Quo in the description. Also, make sure you visit ineverknewtv.com. iReasons there. Fortunate enough to have the one Bounty Killer on there recently. Styles P. Styles P's an Irie Reasoning. You definitely want to check that out if you have time. And many more. Far Eye, what we're reasoning about today?
Yes, I we talk about in the American economy we realize that spending and eating actually become the biggest forms of therapy for majority of people across the board. We really have to dig in it, you know?
Serious thing. And before people get all defensive, because I know we live in a very woke society, right? We are aware that substance abuse is the number one form of therapy in our country, right? But we just, we're focused on the eating and the spending. Far right, the spending thing, people's spending habits is beyond out of hand. Now, I want to make it clear there is a large portion of our society that just don't make enough to live, and this message is not for them. So that's the disclaimer. Maybe I should have put it at the front. You have a large portion of people who make enough to live, but due to their struggles in life, they take this consumerism as a form of therapy, right? And it becomes a problem with all forms of therapy that are unhealthy. They come with a cost. Now, when most people talk about this consumption thing, they focus on the economics, but they don't focus on the psychological and spiritual aspect. Obviously, there's a void that you're trying to fill, right? There are numerous levels to it. There's one level in regards to insecurity and validation. You've been bombarded with messages and images that state if you purchase this product, it'll increase your self-worth. It'll increase your position in society. Also with the fact of the dopamine hit that you get from purchasing items, right? People love that short-term attention. People love that short-term feel of joy that they receive when they purchase these items. It's like any other form of drug, right? You use it, you get high for a duration of time, the high comes down, and you have to continue to use it. With the purchasing, it's the same thing. Some of the purchasing practices of people out here is very disturbing. And a lot of relationships are at the end of the rope because of purchasing practices for it. I'm not a relationship coach or a relationship expert, but I do remember reading things over the years, and it seems that not even infidelity, and I may have to check it to be correct, and please correct me, right? But not even infidelity seems the number one cause of breakups of relationships. Number one cause seems to be finances, and there seems to be a disconnect in regards to the approach they're gonna have for their finances as a couple and the spending habits. You do have relationships where both people are just purchasing everything and very fueled by maintaining an image. The maintenance of images are very expensive because items are always coming out. Some people have car notes out there. Some of you probably have a car note out there that exceeds $500, $600, $700. That's not rational. You can't justify that. That's full blown financial irresponsibility. The constant purchasing of items. We spoke about this previously. Far average human being only wears about 3 pair of jeans, but yet these closets are full to the point that you have storage. And I feel, and I'll continue to say this, if you have storage, I think something's wrong. You've exceeded. All right, let me be clear. I'm not saying if you live somewhere and you move out or you get thrown out your place. I'm saying if you have a place already that has space and you have stuff that can't fit in there, I think that you may want to have a conversation with yourself. Why are you still purchasing stuff when you have the same things that you're not using? What is the cause of that? It has to be like a psychological issue at that point, Far right. No, it really is. If you say it out loud, it's like, all right, I have a closet full of stuff, right? What I do personally is that, as a man, you have a nice shirt turn into a workout shirt, then they get beat down to the night shirt, then they go in the trash. That's like at least that's my transition, right? But I had to say, before I know, I got one little discount place I go to in Jersey to get things, right? But it's like, I was talking to my wife saying, I probably really don't need to go there till like September or end of next year. because I don't need anything. I may want something, but I generally don't need anything because I have enough things to get me through to cover little places I go to when I have to put on certain little outfits. Right? So it's just like therapy. I'm purchasing stuff. This Amazon thing, the wickedest thing Amazon on the phone right now, because it cuts out the whole thought process. You don't have to leave. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to go in the store. It's always available for the most part.
CMD delivery.
Oh my. It's just too much, you know, and it's just like I need this stuff and I need this stuff. And yes, I know they say that the women are worse than the men with the purchasing, but I don't know far I go like the men bad too, yeah. The man terrible because
them bad too for 2 years.
You got the sneaker thing. We were somewhere at a kiddie event and one of the ladies there were telling us about her husband, how they have all these shoes. Like hundreds of shoes for all right? I said, that sounds silly. You know, me personally, I wouldn't say that in public, but I guess that's a cool thing. I guess that's supposed to be impressive. But it's just like, what are you doing with all these shoes for all right? Midnight got a thing, if you're a caterpillar, you're a centipede or something. It's just like, the thing is out of hand, right? And I think instead of putting a needle in your arm or smoking something, swiping that card, yeah. And we need to speak about that more. We need to speak about more in regards to spending. We're going to get to the food later still, because we know how the food thing go. And I can attest to sugar. I can speak about my experience with sugar. But in regards to the spending, Farai, have you witnessed, right? Have you talk about witness?
I want to tell you, say.
Farai, have you witnessed consumer therapy, Farai? People say it too, right? They say like, yo, I'm going to go, I don't know if that's a proper term, but they do have a little slick saying that I hear saying like, I'm going to go, I guess it's called consumer therapy. They're going to go purchase something.
What you want now? You see, with this consumer therapy, there's one common thread we notice. So everything where was initially a want, it become a need. That's the first step, you know, making a want become a need. And then when the want become the need now, then the reasons for purchase become more fluent. But if a lot of people feel like this is something where them can contest, I really want to observe one thing, and I probably not even know, and then we can check it up afterwards. There has been more connections between science and marketing in the last decade, and that's for the particular reason, because the rise of consumer therapy, marketers start connect with scientists, and in the field of neuromarketing, it is that field where really has spread more. More companies are link up with them to get scientific experimentations about how consumers think. And then they mention thing about man or woman, where the marketers them I don't know when them connect with the scientists now, them campaigns start fuel two separate ways. So them start build a campaign for brand, and them start build a campaign for what them call acquisition. So them separate it now. So see, because women are known for convert more, so them split the demographic. So the acquisition campaigns them now, it go more, them put more money towards the females, right? They're putting more money towards female for acquisition campaigns. You can acquire your revenue right on the go. But then when them start with male now in the rise of the new era, when them start look on that particular demographic, them start put them campaign towards branding. So seeing, so that's the difference, you know. So the branding now, it start get to the male. We know say we'll get to them slower. And once we eventually get to them now, it gonna start transfer. So if the female now make the purchase for the male already, the male can start make the purchase for themselves. And in that way now, the spending habits of both the male and the female start collide, and then them start swap the campaigns them now. In the midst of that, them start add an additional campaign for swap it out now to the branding and the acquisition female male. So you see, people need to understand this enough here. What go on in the system is that a lot of majority of people work non-stop. So now, as I mentioned before, the wants become the needs. So when people I don't know feel like, all right, I worked hard, right? So when I work hard, I deserve to be treated. So with the treat now, what them start talk about now is to buying all of these items to make them feel like say is a prize when them really work. But people now really pretty psychological effects say what you are going to actually get more broke. And when you get more broke, you have to work even harder now to get back something to maintain the living. So it's something where most people now meditate, but them do it at the same time just to make sure that them can feel good within themselves internally. And now I really see the implications of the spending with them at the fire. But it arise right now in the fire. And even though the man them say there's a recession that is taking place. I want to say spending increase more, and that is a next sign now for sure. You say consumer therapy start increase because the top 20 to 25%, of spenders who have the highest earning income are spending less. So if them spend decline more than 40% from the whole talk of the whole new recession. But the bottom feeders, what them call the bottom feeders now, who are earn less, them for them spending increase during this whole talk of recession. So now in the marketing world now, them start call it a rich session. Instead of recession, them call it a rich session because them say the rich people them spend less because them want for reserve in case a big economic crisis start take place. And we see it start take place with the bank them a meltdown and thing at this time too. And the people them who up on the lower end of the economic spectrum spend more. So it show you say the people them right now, even the statistics are show you too, so why show the one them say it's not just a reasoning way where we just we just make it up out of our brain. It starts show say the people them now who are suffer more, who now have certain things to maintain themselves, feel like the only way them can get out of this from a psychological standpoint and suit themselves is for buying more fire. And it become a really a sad type of thing because most people now understand say if you really spend money and you spend money for assets, it might cause you stress and might cause you pain and all of these things. No, but in the long run, that will be more therapeutic than the type farmer spending what them spend now.
I know people are beaten down, right? I know people are tired, and because you have to acknowledge that. Because if you don't, I guess you're cold-hearted and you're insensitive. You're insensitive. But the thing is that I think it's a sign where people have given up, Farai, in regards to the spending, where they don't believe there's much of a future. So what they're gonna do now is just, what's the term I would say, YOLO, live in the moment, or whatever that vibe is.
YOLO.
I apologize. YOLO. And it's a mixture, right? It's a toxic mixture of insecurity and ignorance. The insecurity, obviously, with the system, you have to work out yourself and to build yourself up to grow out of that. But the ignorance in regards to finances, the true belief, because this is what goes on, Farai. People truly believe in their heart. They really believe in their heart that they are cooler. They are more in the now when they purchase these items. And we have to give a hand clap to marketers. Marketers have done a great job killing the self-worth of people and making them believe that the only way to have any form of self-worth is to purchase it. A lot of times we beat down the system, but we don't give them enough credit, right? In certain, it is what it is, right? And in certain instances, they've done a great job of really embedding that in the mind of the people, and it's replicated with the offspring from the parents. Because no one's a greater marketer than the parent. Parent teaches the child what to take important, what's needed. If you have this, you're important, you're cool. If you don't have this, you're nothing. The parent really puts that in the child. So when the child grows up, they continue, and it's a nice cycle of confusion, brokenness, and high levels of consumption. So anyone listening here, we do ask that for the month of April. This is the first podcast for April. Why don't you just purchase what you need? Why don't you have a form of discipline that holds yourself accountable? Take a little time, because you do have time, right? You do have time. Take a little time.
I want to extend it beyond for saying purchase what you need, because we just mentioned a while ago, everything become a need. So I think the more suitable advice would I really be once we sit down, think about some of the items we want to purchase of recent or ones about to purchase. See the scale of where you need it in your life, what type of value it will add towards your life. And then when you can think about the value it add, you yourself as an individual can really meditate and determine if it's a need or a want. Because if I tell I want to have a purchase what them need, I want to purchase the sneakers right now and tell her, say, yo, me I go up on vacation and me need the white sneakers right now. So I don't follow the idea. I don't follow the idea. You know what I say?
No, far we give thanks for that clarification, right? And to elaborate on that, right, in regards to breaking down your needs and your wants, think about in regards to the source of the purchase. In regards to, are you purchasing this for attention, or are you purchasing this for its utilization? Are you purchasing this for how others will respond to it, or are you actually purchasing this thing for the purpose of the far? That's what I learned early on, right? These aren't self-help books now. These are like books about economics and all that. And what helped me a lot is when you actually purchase items for their use versus what they represent, it's a totally different approach. For instance, let's use a car, for example, that everyone can relate to. A car, you need depending on where you live, especially if you live somewhere where the public transportation isn't that accessible or it's not that efficient, you need a car, especially if you live far from work. You need a durable car. If you were to approach a purchase of a car, a leasing of a car, or finance, whatever you're doing, from that perspective, I guarantee you will end up spending less money and you will make a more educated, financially responsible decision instead of purchasing the car for what it represents in society. Purchase the car in regards to, I need a durable car that's like, I don't have to worry about breaking down all the time, versus the status of the car or the marking of the car and what we believe about particular cars. And that's where we get caught up into. Cars, clothes, homes. For some people out there got too much home now. Too much items. These women out there I personally feel bad for the dudes that have these women with that need these expensive bags. My heart goes out to them. They really do, because there's so much stress this man is under to go find this thing, and he find himself doing things he's not supposed to go get the money, and find himself in problems and that's the source of a lot of problems that do hustlers, women, attention in women. That's all they try and get. And some dudes that do whatever is needed to get a particular type of woman. Enough people killed over it's not even it's not even. We won't even get into that, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, it's just that my heart goes out to these women that just demand these things. That they're like, why? There's so much pressure. There's so much pressure to get these. And I'm not telling nobody not to get no quality goods for her. I hope I'm being clear on this. Because then some people say, you telling them that, no, I'm not telling you that. You need quality items that will last. And I'm not telling you, you can't get name brand things. I'm not telling you that. But at what level are you trying to get it? Why are you trying to get it? A lot of times you're trying to get it because society has told you that this is on the heights when you get that. And you inside as a person is still insecure. And I think and I just want to say for her, you're in a bad state when your self-worth is dependent on exterior items. Because therefore, if you don't have it, what do you have? And that's where a lot of people are. Then obviously it's not working because the mental illness and depression is so high. So obviously whatever you're doing is not working for you. And as far as I said earlier, you have to work so much to get it. So that's the next thing now. Because now we're clicking into the mental health and the physical health, spiritual health, because you can't take care of yourself because you got to be running around all the time. Remember, you already make enough to live for. I want to be clear. This is for this crew. Well, because you want to be in Vogue magazine and wearing what the next man wearing and competing with the next person, because this competition mashing up, this competition thing crazy. Before I say what you gonna say, I want to cut to this food therapy too.
I mean, like I say, there I mentioned even luxury goods. I want to tell you, say there's this big misconception saying luxury goods are mostly worn by people of status, and that's definitely wrong. That's definitely wrong, because that's what me before me have the knowledge, me used to think the same thing too. But it turns out that majority of people who purchase luxury goods are people who who are not on the upper end of the economical scale. Two, right now, luxury goods are being purchased mainly. So more people take heed of this thing mainly by Gen Zs and millennials who have recently moved back home with their parents. So the luxury goods boom. So all right, majority of luxury goods, the industry overall have an increase by more than 15% or something of that sort over the last year to 2 years. And 100%, we're not talking about 99, 100% of that is due to youths who move back in with them parents, right? Who move back in with them parents between millennials and Gen Zs. And them don't contribute to the household or anything of that sort. So what that tell me now is that we know we are dealing with the responsibility, it kind of fall and a dwindle. But the respect from the Gen Z and the millennials them who are purchases luxury goods, but it a fall on the parents. Because what my statistics never tell me this, but it never tell me what type of economical class the parents are in. But now I think about it from from just my meditation. Majority of them, I don't think all the majority of these parents would the youth them move back in with wealthy or just have it like that. So now that simply means that the stress of fall back on them while the therapeutic spending will go on by all of these youths who are purchasing luxury goods. It might seem cool to them. And they might meditate, say, oh yeah, I'm feeling good now because I got these products. But what you need to think about your parents, so you're gonna move back in with. Because right now 50% themselves, 50% of youths live with them parents back again, both in the US and the UK. See? Live at home with them parents of recent from the whole COVID, the pandemic era take place up until now. It start increase every single year. And these people are purchasing luxury goods. So we need to think about the mindset all of these parents right now. Some of these parents might have taken on a whole heap of pressure just so the youth them can have this actual therapeutic thing through spending, and that to me not seem like it's a cool thing. It seems like it's a whole thing where it got just crash. Even it's a bike where I go hard and it just go crash eventually.
Nah, serious thing for all right. And I just want to talk about this moving back in thing, right? So living with your parents can be a good thing if done strategically. But I've read articles also, and just from exposure and observing life, I see that this generation, that's not the case. It's a situation where they don't necessarily make enough to live on their own comfortably. And now that because, as you said, some parents ask for something, but some parents don't. If they're in a situation where the parents is not asking for stuff, what they feel now, they have this excess money to consume, right? So what they're going to find themselves in a position where it's like they're in a nasty cycle when they should be using that time to build up their skill set, build up their money to make a transition, or to even do other things with their life if they're going to stay at their parents' house. But they're not using it in a positive way. If you're staying at your parents, if you're an adult and you have a position not to pay rent, you should be stacking bread. And like stacking a lot of bread. I'm not talking about saving $100 a week. You should be saving majority of your money. Like, and if you're not paying the rent, I guess you would cook or help with other things or do laundry, just help your parents out. But if you're in a position where you're able to live rent-free as an adult, you are a fool if you're not stacking bread. I don't know any other way to say it. You should be knocking down your student loans. If you have any form of debt, you should be knocking that down, but you definitely should be stacking bread, and you should be working more also. You really should just be working, taking care of yourself, staying out the way, and sleeping. Because you are in a unique position to be somewhere where you can not pay rent. Depending on where you live, different areas, sometimes $700, $1,400, $2,000, depending on whatever that average rent is, that's what you should be stashing. You shouldn't be leaving your parents' house broke. You've wasted the opportunity, conducted yourself in a foolish way. That's just the reality. All right, moving forward into this food therapy now, right? We have the consumption therapy, which is very detrimental to your pockets. We didn't even get on the bad credit, Farai. So we can't jump to the food yet because we got to talk about the bad credit. Now, some people's credit is bad because they generally don't make enough. They have too much bills. They have too much children. They just don't make enough. This message is not for you. Everyone out there, keep doing your thing and try to get yourself going. This is for those who make enough. And they have their consumption therapy, and they put it on their card. A lot of things on people's credit cards don't need to be on there. They just generally don't. If you have $1,000 in your bank account, you should not be making a purchase on your credit card for $1,500. Now, if it's like your car or something broke down, you need to go to work, yes, but you shouldn't just be purchasing a liability, some form of clothes. Vacation's a big thing for our. Yeah, we need to redefine vacation for our, because everyone's going on vacation, but they're not relaxing, coming back refreshed. Because you know the trend, I think people going on vacation just to take pictures. Actually, you spoke about that earlier, but it's just like, if you can't afford to go on vacation with your friends, just don't go. It's okay. You can go later on in life. These vacations are expensive. You're looking at $2, $3, $4 you got to slap on there because you know they trying to do their thing big. Yeah, that's a long, listen, if you put $4 on your credit card and you have no money, that's a long time to go pay that off. Yeah. By the time you pay it off, you're probably going to be off $7, $8, $9 depending on your payment situation. But here goes the tricky part. You know something else going to come up in between while you're paying that off, right? You know something else is going to happen. So don't think it's going to be scotch-free and that's the only thing you're focusing on. Other things are going to happen in life because that's how life works. That's how people, that's why credit card key that credit line, because they know already, fire. They know how life works. And they know you're going to get stuff. You're taking an L if you're making a minimum payment on a credit card. Yeah. You're taking a super L. And that's what they want you to do. They have two names there. They have, I think they call them deadbeats, actually, for credit cards, if I'm correct. And a deadbeat is a person that actually pays off their card on time and they don't like you because they don't make any money. But I think they want you to be a revolver. I'm not sure I know deadbeat is one of the terms, right? And it's a good to be a deadbeat in the credit card industry because you pay off your bills. But they want you to be a revolver in regards to making that minimum payment. And it's not till recently they had to legally put what you would be paying on your statement when you made the minimum payment, because before it just said $25. So you're like, whatever, right? They're not calling me. But now that says 25. If you continue to pay the 25, you know, your statement says 3 and it'll say like 7, $8 But people not paying that no mind. And this is if you want to get your thing correct. That's all we're saying. This is not fair. This if you want to get your thing correct. You know, for like I say something.
And I think when you talk about credit card, you see what I notice of recent, we just learn this. I mean, it's a good while now coming, but we just learn this. A lot of people see them credit card and see these 3 letters, but they don't understand what it even means. They don't have a clue. APR. Most people don't even know what the hell an APR is. No, I'm not laugh off of them neither, but
it's just why would people know? You know, I'm laughing because it's so critical, right? But it's like that's the main part. You know, you should be asking annual percentage rate, right? But it's really just your interest rate. And any person that takes any form of credit, whether it's student loan, mortgage, credit card, car loan, store loan, the first question should be, what is the interest rate? And also, is it a variable rate or is this locked in? Because a lot of times with credit cards, they'll give you it's a rate, it's spread out. So they'll say like 17 to 29, but they don't tell you exactly what you're getting. So 17 may be the first month, or 17 may be if you pay it off every month in full. But if you pay like, you know, the minimum or pay a portion, it may jump to 29%. And with credit cards, I want to be clear also, it's not if you have $1,000, you're not going to be charged $290. You're not going to be charged at 29%, right? It's the 29% divided by 12. So you take the 29%, divide that by 12, or whatever that answer is, you would add that on what balance you have for every month for your credit card. But the thing is, though, in reality, people get the full rate because you're not paying that off in a year. Because if you have $1,000 on your credit card, right, and you have $300 in your bank account, remember you're on fixed income, so you're not getting any more money to like put you ahead. That's the thing they're not understanding for the fixed income. You're not getting no excess money to help you out with that. You're on the same money that you're already on death's door on. So you're going to be able to send that minimum. And yes, you will be knocked at that full APR, as far as stated, for the year. And that's where most, because some people balances just rolling over year after year after year after year. But where's the money coming from? You're on fixed income. You have to understand your financial situation. You're on fixed income.
I want me to feel it more for the people them too. That's I try my best to educate the people them anytime I come across them, because I realize that for one, as we mentioned, them not know what these things are, so them not really pay attention to that while spending, and then on the next part of it, it's like a subset of that is that a lot of people use credit card to get cash, so them not even overstand say your APR increase when you use it to get cash. So and it's 29%, like for the highest way you find most companies are kept at the start once you get the money. So you see them look acknowledge them. I feel like if people didn't know some of them look acknowledge them, I really that pay attention, them consumption habits would have start be less, like, and them would have even focus on how them set themselves in a life. But I feel like people just not really focus on anything that them need to.
Yes, a mixture of the ignorance again is a predatory behavior from credit card companies. Because anytime you what do they call it, transfer balance, or I think something like that, right? So say you got a credit card with $5,000 on it. The cash advance may be God knows what it is, and they're also gonna hit you with a transfer fee, which should be like 3% or a money part of it. So they get you coming in and going. And usually, if you're in a position where you're taking that cash advance, ain't too much to support it, you know? So it's just like, it's a nasty situation. So it's very tricky out there. We need to delve deeper on this one. It's a good reason. I want to talk about the food therapy now, right? We spoke about the finance there. We talk about the food therapy. One can go outside the house and look around and just see how deep the food therapy is, right? Americans are big. I want to be clear. This is not fat shaming. This is just facts, right? Far Americans so big, mannequins are big right now. Corporations are no longer presenting the quote-unquote original ideal body type. They have changed the body type to meet the market. They have seen already we can no longer present this European body type because no one looks like it. Mannequins are obese. People not preying that far. That's a serious thing. And eating as a form of therapy. Now, yes, we understand people are, depending on where you live in a certain food desert. We have to factor in our schedules are just wild, especially if you have children. You have to make an extra effort, which most people struggle with in regards to food preparation. We have knowledge of food. I just want to go through everything before we get into this. Another issue is access to workout facilities, knowledge about workout, dedication, and all those type of things. Especially with the kids, a lot of these neighborhoods, you can't walk around, so they sit in the house and play video games for their own safety. That leads to obesity. But with all that said, right? Yes, we have a opioid epidemic. We've always had an alcohol epidemic, which we never speak about, which is odd. It's pretty wild. Like, we don't speak about alcohol. It's just accepted. It's just like drinking juice. But this eating thing, this eating thing is out of hand. We eating up the whole earth, yeah. We eating up everything, you know? And like, the problem with that is that just like, it just breaks down your body. Now, me personally, I can speak about my sugar addiction. I was addicted. Listen, when I stopped smoking weed, I started eating a lot of sugar, yeah. I don't know the correlation. I don't know the cycle. I don't know what was going on. But I know that when I stopped smoking weed, you figure, you know, smoking the weed, you'll be eating sugar. But once I started smoking weed, my sugar intake increased dramatically where I had to check myself and say, all right, this can't work, yo. Now, everybody know vegan sweets too, because the sugar in there same way. Yeah, maybe vegan butter is flour same way, and it's sugar. So I never heard no vegan sugar yet. So that's the excuse people it's vegan. It's vegan.
Correct, but sugar is vegan. So I want to say them started from a longer time to, you know, if you see, I think this whole food as therapy is a thing where started in our movies, you know. Because if you realize, anytime after like breakups and all of these different things,
ice cream,
woman drop for the big cup of ice cream and chocolate, and that them drown them sorrows, you know. So you see people start taking on these traits. But I want to say there's another side to it now where I feel like food as therapy, multiple people are tap into it in the right way, and that is the problem. Because you can use food as therapy, you know, but most people even overstand, say, all right, bam, you have your little herbs, them, you have whatever you have to deal with. You put your pot together, you put a spice together, some for them that call it certain type of concoctions in your kitchen where you that deal with for help your situation, or you be right now. If you're depressed, you have certain type of food we can cure depression. And if you feel anxious, you have certain different type of food we can help your anxiety, all of these different things. But the fact that majority of people who are consumed don't even have knowledge of food overall at all. And that's the problem. The people just as there is, the people turn to sugar. And when them turn to sugar now, and the fact that they not even now move, then all of them thing there, it's like it just stuck in them body, and then it just make them start swell up. And people now overstand say these things are cause a whole heap of health implications to where I really take place, and people just see it as a norm now. Because one thing when we realize is that, I used to tell people, say, I go say this, and some people might feel a way about it. Me never, like, I get asked to partake in a like cancer walk and these things, but it's something where me personally, like, against to certain levels, like, I mean, I want to just say it does make it sound like it does something where it's naive. Why we walk for cancer when time the same people and we walk for cancer, very big and not take care of themselves, and plus the same people and we walk for cancer, the same people will support the whole dairy industry and all of these things. You know, so from a person get cancer, one of the main things them tell themselves to do is stay off a dairy product. Because that can make certain cancer cells come back in your body again. But the same people and most of them are walk for this cancer walk, cry say them just lose a family member, a friend over all of these cancer things. Still, I support all of these dairy things. Them support all of these carcinogens where them are intaking of them body, all of these red meat, all of these something. And yet still, when I tell them, so well, we're supposed to walk for cancer because we're trying to find the cure for cancer. And people are say, F cancer. But out for F cancer, well, all we do is walk about it. But we now overstand, say, we're supposed to take some action and I try to stop this thing, even just try to educate yourself now what type of things might cause cancer. We can't stop it overall because they might build everything now is something where it can give you cancer. Don't get me wrong. It's just that's just the reality of what it is right now. So I'm not going to tell you, say, I just the food where you eat, but that play a major role. And we even can limit some of these things. Then we can say, yeah, we can do a cancer walk, but where we do a cancer walk when time we are as we left the cancer walk, we're gonna off, so we stop off. We left cancer walk and we stop a fast food drive-through. We go eat fast food and overstand so them things are contribute to the same thing to say. It's like we are contradict ourselves and we not overstand so fire. These things that we see as therapy in the form of eating is the opposite. Fire is really something where it's a bit therapy, but it's still a therapy. We are continuously there now, and best believe say you are your food psychologist like always hand in hand. And you have always not a seat there and if you explain to your psychologist what take place. So most of the people them now overstand to some of them things it a cause to them own demise fire, and that really set them back a million miles already. You know, so the man them do all the experiment about all the sugar fire, and I say sugar 10 times more addictive than even cocaine fire. And people just bypass them study they like a nut in a fire and overstand say when the man them put the sugar get the rat sugar and get the rat coke, and the rat more addicted to the sugar because the rat just want to come back and crave the sugar. That alone tell you something, man.
Nah, very true. And it's funny how the principles tie back into what we said earlier with the finance in regards to the ignorance. Because people just are unaware. But my brother says something, I don't know if he called it willing ignorance or something. He has a little funny saying, he said. And I think a lot of people suffer from willing ignorance. And I'll tell you why. People will take time to find out the most pointless information and really dig and do research. But when it comes to things that are beneficial to them, they don't have that type of vigor. So a man that take time and analyze what relationship this person in, and I'm going to give you an example for it. I saw it recently. They were talking about something with sports, and the person wasn't familiar with it, so he said he's going to go back and like research the origin of it so he get the full, you get what I'm saying? So why we can't do that with other things? It all ties in regards to self-love, accountability. Because if you truly love yourself, you will want the best for yourself. And I think that's a part of the thing we have to put in there in regards to people really loving themselves. If I love myself in the essence of my being, I would want to do the best for myself. And I would want to find out what's best for me. And I would have to stop behaviors that are detrimental to myself, collectively, like the wholeness of myself. Yeah, food is one of those things. I think the food thing, I think people that, I'm not talking about no plant-based journey, I'm talking about healthy living. So let's put that to the side. There's a lot of people plant-based and they still healthy because they're eating this flour and sugar. I'm talking about healthy living, holistic living in all aspects of your life. I really think it comes down to self-love. Not really. It comes down to self-love. So you have to get to the point where you truly love yourself and you're doing the best things that's for you. And when I say being active, I'm not talking about working out in no gym, running around with abs. I'm talking about being active, walking outside, doing a little resistance, doing things to keep your body going, doing an extra effort in regards to preparing certain teas and dealing with certain smoothies and providing your body with the nutrients and minerals that it needs. And if you're unfamiliar with it, educating yourself on it and finding that information. Because it's very funny when people doing things that they locked into certain things that's not beneficial. They'll put all that effort into it. But you need to transfer that energy and put into stuff that's beneficial to you. A lot of people don't care about their future. It is what it is, Fire. We don't want to have that conversation, but it's like a lot of people out here walking dead. They just don't care. Because if you cared, you take care of yourself. You want to preserve yourself. Wasn't that one of the most basic tenets of human life? Self-preservation. So if you're not doing things to preserve yourself, something's wrong. It's a red flag, right? So I think that's what
the first rule of nature is to preserve oneself. For them things that we are learning from we young, man.
Not a serious thing, And in regards to the food, I don't want to turn this into no food doctrine thing or nothing, but it's like, you really have to start. One of the biggest problems is, I think with the food, especially with the younger generation, it's very hard to you can't let the thing get out of hand. It's very hard. Like once you get to a certain point, it's very hard to get things going again. And I think we have a reactionary approach to health, and we should have a proactive and more sustaining approach to health in regards to just from early have the younger generation practice certain things so they maintain that through life. What we do is we do whatever when the thing gets out of hand and you get that message from the doctor, you want to change. But as you said, you're actually dealing with substances that are addictive, numerous substances. So it's like you're asking somebody to break like 10 addictions at one time to get themselves better, and it's just too much. Because you got to figure you're addicted to not moving around, living a sedated lifestyle. That's an addiction. Like you go home and plop down on the couch. It's a comfortable addiction. It's a comfortable and uncomfortable addiction. Now you're asking someone to cut down on food. And food touches people's spirit. The white flour, the sugar. Then there's another aspect for you got to cut out the drinking. That's the next addiction. So it's just, you get what I'm saying? When the thing get out of hand, it's too much things to cut off at one time. And I think that's why it's so overwhelming for people. But I will say, if you are serious about it, you need to start ticking off one at a time and really approach it like one warrior and learn everything you can about it and yourself. And I guarantee you, if you really tap into it, you'll knock them out one by one if you want to. Majority of people don't want to. They don't want to deal with the discomfort of the change. And some people are very comfortable in their state. They may complain, but they're comfortable. And it's quite evident because they don't do anything to change. As far as I stated earlier, the food can be used to help and heal. And I think that should be approached. But before we get to that point, we have to kind of get rid of using it in a negative light. And we have previous podcasts. I have time to go. We got previous podcasts we speak about in regards to change. And if I find it, I'll put the link under there. But there are ways in regards to cleaning up the eat. We both have been there. We weren't born living the way that we do. It was a process, a lot of growth. So we can speak on it because we did it and we do it, But in regards for yourself, you gotta get to the point where you love yourself and want the best for yourself. And wanting the best for yourself is not having a shirt with a name brand on it. Wanting the best for yourself is doing the things that you can work at an optimal level and really get the best out of the talents that you've been given. And by doing those things, the result will be a life and an income. You'll be shocked how these things all work together. But the first thing is getting yourself together. And we're not here fat shaming, but having a certain level of weight on you is just unhealthy. I don't care how a man want to talk about accepting yourself and all that. You can accept yourself, that's great, but you still have a high probability of having health problems due to the excess weight that you're carrying. And I have to say this too. Yes, you could be of lighter weight and have health problems too. So I'm not saying because you're lightweight, you're exempt from having health problems. But when you have that weight on, statistically, scientifically proven, you highly increase your chances. Because when you go to the doctor, first thing they're gonna say is cut out basic things that you shouldn't be eating, and they gotta tell you to lose weight. Because obviously the body does not respond to excess weight. You can't sit around all day. You got to get outside and walk. And if you live in an area where you can't walk, you got to drive, take a bus, or go somewhere else that's safe and walk. If you can afford a gym membership, or you could do some activity, you have to move. Human beings were not made. That's the thing. Our lifestyle is inhumane. You wake up, you get in a car, you drive to work, or you take a bus, or you take a train. You sit, you go to work, and the wickedest thing I see with this work thing is the snacks at work, Farah. You work on the second floor, you're taking the elevator to the second floor. You parking right in front of the building. No, it's the reality. You're snacking all day, drinking soda all day, snacking all day. Lunch, one crazy lunch. You just had one crazy breakfast. Then you had to cut. These things add up. I think people don't realize these things got to go somewhere. Fire, they got to go somewhere. You putting too much energy in your body. You're not using the energy. It's bad type of energy anyway, so it's going to stay in your body. People don't like to walk far. I'm a man, love to walk far. All my shoes, all the back. I got to buy new shoes called the heel burnt off from walking. And go outside and walk. Just walk whatever you can. I'm not telling you go walk far. Just walk, start walking. Walking is a great exercise, man. People underestimate the power of walking. You can lose a lot of weight just walking. You'll be shocked. And your poops will be better. That's the next thing, Fire, when you talk about, because people not going to the bathroom, man. Walk that right out. Go for a nice walk. Because, as I said, I don't want to get deep into this food thing. I just want to say one thing, last thing, Farah. You see, when you start with the green juice and all that, your palate is so used to the sugar, so it's very difficult. And also, I noticed, too, when people start the juice, they're not used to nothing in the body, and they come like they get diarrhea, yeah. That's the next thing that turns people off. But you got to get that through that period where your body can start absorbing the nutrients. Because you got to remember, your body not just going to start, it's like some foreign substances coming to your body. Even though
be a fake food it used to.
Yeah. So you got to get through that period and don't get discouraged. But walking, listen, if you eating healthy, controlling your stress, sleeping, and kind of building up yourself and using your brain, you're on a different height, yo. And easy on the substances in regards, because some people intend to not working properly. That's the next reason too. We need to talk about the power of sobriety, Farah. Because some people, the frequency thrown off, because there's too much things they take. They're taking too much things, and things now is out of whack. Their spider sense is not working properly that we all innately have as human beings. The intuition not there. And you need intuition to get through this thing. You need that intuition to guide you on certain things. It's very needed, and you need to tap into it on your journey. And some people, your antennas are thrown off, and you're not tapped into intuition is creating a big problem for you. The certain guidance that the universe is giving you, you're not getting it. Your signal off. That's the next reason we need to talk about too, But I had to throw that in far, But we do encourage people out there, man, to take responsibility for your finances. Work on yourself, work on your insecurities. You can't have your insecurities having you broke every week, having you broke every 2 weeks. You're not impressing anyone. Anyone with sense not paying you no mind, I guarantee you that. Anybody, any sensible human being not paying you no mind because you got some name branding. If I see a man in a certain car, I just say, this man got a large bill, See, extra headache. That's how I see it. I don't see it as anything, because I see him as a better person, this and that. I don't know this person's situation or her situation. She probably could afford it. She can't afford it. That's no concern to me. I just see it as a big expense. I see it as added stress. And I view it as an insecure person. You can't justify purchasing certain things. I remember one time one girl was trying to justify a Louis Vuitton bag. I said, listen, all the bags had the same. They brown with the L on it. What is so unique about, what is so artistic about this bag that it looks so good compared to the next bag? You're purchasing the brand. Stop lying to yourself. You're purchasing what it represents. And you are a fool, because whatever that bag costs, you don't make that every 2 weeks, and you don't have that in your bank account. You're only lying to yourself. What are we accomplishing? Going back to what you said, who's purchasing these items for, all right? Those without, because they fully can't purchase certain things. You know, people try to replicate the rich, so they can't purchase no yacht or no mansion, so they just purchase the lowest thing they could get it. I'll get a pair of iPods, or I'll buy this T-shirt, or I'll buy these shoes.
Status symbol, man.
They call it conspicuous consumption.
Yeah, I understand this. I try to create, be a part of a particular group, but them don't understand say the consumption I make them further away from the group to say it's kind of like an illusion, you know?
It's bad for your psyche too, because what you're doing is you're throwing fire on that fuel of insecurity. And that's the thing you got to kill to get yourself together. No person, I don't see any person out here, and I want to say this clear because people don't listen. I'm not talking about making money. I'm not saying that. You could be very insecure and make money, but I'm talking about to be financially stable and to make financially responsible decisions. Can't be governed by insecurity. You got to really have not saying that you don't have any insecurities, but you can't be governed by insecurities because your decisions aren't going to be based on rationale. All your decisions are going to be fueled by how you're going to be perceived in society. And once that's the focal point of your financial decisions, it's a recipe, but it's a recipe for disaster because you're not making rational decisions that would be best for you and your family long-term financially. And that's why, I don't know why, I guess they do it on purpose, but I think whenever anyone speaks about finances, I think a person, before we even get to your budget, I think a person needs to take time and work on their insecurity, then get into the other stuff. Because you can break down everything, but the essence of their thought pattern is going to be fueled by wanting to be validated. So as long as that's kind of like the source of your decision making, all the other stuff don't matter. Everybody, they could break down everything you want. You're not going to make decisions based on that. You're going to make it based on trying to be validated by people outside, trying to fill that void inside you. And the wild thing, it hasn't been filled. That's the craziest thing I don't understand, bro. It hasn't been filled, and people still trying to swipe the void. Or eat up the void.
Them look down upon a crack addict, but, you know, say, it's just another form of addiction, you know?
Yes, man, it really is. You know, and it's a praise form of addiction because you watch the movies, the music videos, they all got the bags and all this. How you gonna do that for you on 9 to 5? With most of your money taxed, and you got kids. So why we just can't give things that, you know, I'm able to provide for my family. I can get certain things and try. Why can't that be pressed? Why are we trying to do all this other stuff, stressing yourself out? You can't sleep at night. Everybody got what do they call it? Insomnia? Everybody got insomnia. But there's a direct correlation, not saying other things don't bother you, but for a lot of people, that insomnia is based on like, man, like how am I going to keep up this facade? This is very stressful. House, 2 cars, eating out, all these different memberships, all these different clubs. I mean, not clubs. What's the other thing I want to say? I said eating out. I forgot what I was going to say. But yeah, we got a lot of expenses out there. A lot of expenses for what? Something people need to go look into themselves. I'm telling you need to go look into yourselves and turn off the TV and the social media and stop trying to do what they doing. Because the people that's doing it, they not even doing it. That's the next part. The person you watching doing it, they not even doing it. They're struggling themselves with a facade. You there stressing out yourself. Broken relationships because you tried. People backwards, man. Listen, I'm not working nowhere all week and not stacking no bread down. That's not happening, Far right. I don't care if I work at McDonald's, yo. Whatever I got to eat to survive, I'm just going to make that work, yo. If we on beans and rice or whatever, peanut butter sandwiches, that's just going to have to work because I'm not working nowhere and using up all that money, yo. Not happening, yo. That's not an option. I don't care where I want to go. I'm not going. I don't care where you want to eat. It's not for me to tell a man I can't go, yo. I can't afford that right now. I don't got to lie to you and say, I just generally can't afford that right now. I'm good. I ain't got to tell you no great story. I'm not putting myself in no financial problems for nobody. Only financial problems I'm going to run into if I do something and it don't work out. And even that, I still make sure I got something stashed to deal with that. Because it's not it's not rational, but it's not rational behavior to go use your whole check. Yeah. Minus those, and I want to be clear, minus those who are in a situation where they just don't make enough. This is not for those people. I'm talking about people who make enough and they put themselves in a situation due to what we spoke about earlier. I have to keep mentioning that. There's a large amount of people who just don't make enough. This message is not for you. This is for those who make enough, but based on their decisions, they put themselves under financial pressure to impress others. The car is a wicked thing, yeah. This car thing, yeah. How many people see you in your car? You gotta go out your way for people to see you in your car. You gotta pull up certain places to take a picture of the car. Outside of that, you park where you at, you go to work. Nobody pay you no mind. You think people pay you no mind? Nobody pay you no mind for everybody in their own space. And if somebody got time to pay you, if someone has time to sit on your name and pay you mind, bless their soul, because they don't have nothing going on there. This car thing, man, I think that car thing is the wickedest thing, and people have too much house. They got too much house, yo. People in a luxury apartment working 9 to 5. How madness is that? Because on basic financial principles, you're not supposed to spend more than 30% on your living expenses. Or your net, not your gross. So after you have your gross, your whole check, after they take out everything, you're down to the net. Whatever that is for the month, your rent's not supposed to exceed. That's like a basic financial principles. Your living expense is not supposed to exceed the 30%. So therefore, if people were really living by that, a lot of people have to relocate, yeah. Because some people, they rent out 70% of their thing. Because they want this little fancy place stressing them out. Then the car note, then the partying. Some people partying too. Who you buying bottles for, right? You can't afford no bottle, yo. What are we doing?
The high consumption culture in all different form, because you could at least consumption from now till morning. You're not go list all of the consumption. Then I tell you that that's just a high consumption culture. Just people have to just overstand and get to the state where them can even acknowledge the consumption where they make. Because enough man think more consumption, enough consumption, not just where you eat, it's not just where you spend. Whole heap of consumption, but the one main thing overall is that all of these consumptions tie in together, and it become one holistic thing. I remember say it all lead back to you. So when them come with this whole YOLO thing and you want to live once, and them will see the repercussions still. But this is just a warning to the people.
And Farah, you made a powerful statement in regards to acknowledging. That's the source of overcoming an addiction. Actually acknowledge you have a problem. So I think the first step people need to acknowledge to say, hey, maybe my purchasing practices have nothing to do with the use of the product, but what it represents to other people, what other people think about me. Maybe that's the first step of consumer cleansing, consumer detox. Now with the food thing, it's like, I can't be dependent on this food to soothe my soul and heal my woes. I can't turn to this food when I feel down, when I feel sad. I have to find something else to do during those times, because this not going to work long term. But we give thanks for everyone listening from those times till now. Hopefully you got a little short financial lesson in there, some little financial principles. So hopefully you didn't click on it just to put a comment and go through. Hopefully you actually listen to it and learn something. We give thanks for those who actually listen to the podcast. But in our reality, we have to get our financial situation in order. We have to get ourselves in order so we can make better financial decisions. Credit, forget it. There is a proper way to use credit. Most of us are not using it in that light. I think you need to be responsible to educate yourself on the basics of financial. And this is the thing too, Farai. When we speak about finances, people default to this stock and investing. For anybody talking about no stock and investing, put that to the side, yeah. There are a whole bunch of basic principles you need to learn to get yourself in order before you get to know stock and investing. I think that's the thing we need to stay with this stock and everybody with the stock and investing thing. They don't know like basic principles in regards to not spending your old check on foolishness. So I think we got to get this basics in. They have a great website called Investopedia, which is very good. They had another one which is very good with basic information called what's it called? Money Works. I forgot. It was I think it was Samurai Ninja, Samurai Money or something. He was real good. But Investopedia is pretty good in regards to understanding basic terminology, all the acronyms that's on the bills that you get. And so you can start making better decisions. In regards to the food, you gotta work on yourself. You gotta be active. You have to go outside. You have to leave certain people around too, because some people have people that they link up, they just eat bad food and drink. Yeah. You know, you have to remove yourself from those environments that you're partaking in those type of behaviors. Give thanks for everyone. Tune in until next time. If you get free time, make sure you check out Far Right EP. Make sure you visit ineverknewtv.com. And if you do have time, do a little binge, you know? Do a little binge. You can walk, listen to it if you got the unlimited Wi-Fi if your phone, once you're running up your data. You know what I'm saying? If you're here at home, cooking or slap it on and listen to some Reason. Get a vibe. Check out Reason from the One Bonnie Killer Style Speed I Reason. Brand new Reasons coming this week also, so you don't want to miss.